starting off with some cumin or jeera seeds, and in my pot here I have a tablespoon and a half of olive oil. If you prefer to use coconut oil, vegetable oil, canola oil, corn oil, you know, whatever oil you want to use, it's totally up to you. What I must say, if you want to cut back on some of the oil, you can use a non-stick pan and cut that oil by about half. Ladies and gentlemen, we're into episode 7, I believe, of the comfort food series, a sort of meals or dishes which brings a level of comfort to Uncle Chris, an intimate look at what I enjoy. So we've got that cumin or jeera seeds in there. We're just gonna let that toast. My flame is on a medium flame. And to that, I've got a combination of tomato and onion. So a medium tomato, a medium onion that I ran through the magic bullet. If you want to chop it up, you can chop it up. What I want to create here is a sort of a lovely sauce base for us, so later on when I'm eating my roti and curry shrimp, I have a nice little gravy, and this is my sort of trick into getting that gravy. And I know some of the peons, the curry peons, which means the experts, will say tomato in a curry, Chris. Listen, not me, don't hold me accountable. Go out east where the curry come from, see how they just do it before you come and chastise Uncle Chris. My flame is still on that medium heat, yeah? To that, I'm gonna add a ton of crushed garlic. And that is 6 cloves of garlic. I've got a teaspoon of grated ginger, along with a tablespoon of Caribbean green seasoning. What we're gonna do now is give that a stir, and we're gonna combine everything. So we've got ginger, garlic, that cumin in there, the tomato, the onion. You see what coming from? There's all kind of nice flavors in there. And if you're interested in all of the recipes in this comfort series that I've shared so far, you've got to head over to youtube.com/CaribbeanPot. The printable recipes are also available on CaribbeanPot.com. We've been doing some serious changes on there, changes I know you all will appreciate. So we want to cook this down for about 3 or 4 minutes. And I like curry spicy, so I have here a whole Scotch bonnet pepper, a green one, that I cut up into a big piece, simply because I want to be able to identify it later. If I chopped it up when you're eating, if you got a piece of it, boom bam, it's going to cause problems in your mouth. And with the green Scotch bonnet pepper, seeds and everything, it will have a level of heat, but it's not comparable to a fully mature ripe pepper. So I'm getting a lot of flavor and sort of a mild heat from it. Next up, we're gonna add our curry powder, and use your favorite curry powder. Now keep in mind, if you're doing this gluten-free, if you know, some of us can't handle gluten, what I would recommend you do, if you're not making your own curry powder, read the label on the packaging, because sometimes, yeah, there's filler in there. Yeah, not everybody is ethical, you know what I mean? What I also like adding is a bit of anchar masala, and if you don't have anchar masala, you can use some dry roasted cumin or jeera. We started with the jeera seeds or the cumin seeds, but that dry roasted cumin seed powder will bring it, well, give it that sort of anchar masala flavor, I guess. What we're doing is sort of wet toasting the curry powder. Yeah, it will clump, it will want to stick to the bottom of the pan, and you can add some more oil in here if you wanted to, but I'm trying to cut back on the amount of oil that I use. So what I'm going to do is turn down the heat ever so slightly to medium low and let that cook for about 3 minutes to sort of toast all of the spices which makes up that curry powder. To help us create the gravy, I'm going to go in with water, and I'm going to hit that. You want to sort of scrape the bottom of the pot here, and we want to reduce that by about half. In the meantime, I have 1.25 pounds of relatively big shrimp. They've been peeled and deveined. It came peeled and deveined with the tails on. That's cool. I'm going to leave it for presentation purposes, but it's been washed in cool water and the juice of half of a lime, and I'm just setting that aside. Now, if you wanted to season it with the Caribbean green seasoning, salt, black pepper, prior to cooking it for about 30 minutes or so, that's fine. What I do find, though, if you season it overnight and you allow it to marinate, the seasoning, the green seasoning, especially Caribbean green seasoning, will start to cook it. And you don't want, no, we ain't trying to screw this up. And the whole idea here now is to create that gravy. We're going to sort of poach the shrimp in there. You know, and I've shared several curry shrimp recipes before. But this one here, if you really pay attention, you'll see some slight sort of nuances or differences with this one. And it's so easy to put together. Within 15 minutes, you're eating a nice curry shrimp. If you wanted to stretch this for more people, you can pre-boil some potato and add it to the pot later on as well when you're trying to finish up things. I didn't put salt in there yet. I still got to put some black pepper. But for now, let's just let that go until it reduces down a tiny bit. A nice little shake. Everything's coming together nicely. And I just made a mess on my stove again. We're just going to slide in that shrimp in there now. I'm going to hit that a stir. I'm going to turn up my heat just a little bit. Recall, we had the heat on medium-low. And the reason for adding the shrimp now is so we don't overcook the shrimp. Yeah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have discussed this in the previous shrimp recipe, curry shrimp recipe. And you know, just about every time I do anything with shrimp, I always try to impress on you all. Try your best to not overcook the shrimp. Boom, black pepper. You all thought I forgot. Hit that. Because I will get this sort of pronounced flavor of fresh ground black pepper near the end. And this is only going to take about 2 or 3 minutes. And of course we need salt. Near the end, before we turn it off, we're going to taste it. We're going to adjust that salt. But for now, all we want to do is let that cook all the way through for about 3 minutes or so. Shut the stove off and you're good. Earlier on when I was, I love to talk, but sometimes I go off track. What I wanted to mention, and I'm just going to give this another minute. Notice how it's going to start curling up and tightening up. Leaving the skin on is totally optional. The tail part there, that is totally optional. What I wanted to mention earlier on there, smaller shrimp, from experience, you will get a sweeter tasting sort of flavor from it. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me. Email address down here. I'm really trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pod. I really appreciate you guys and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie. Before I turn off the stove, we love Shadow Benny in Trinidad and Tobago. I am from Trinidad and Tobago. But lately I can't handle the Shadow Benny lately. So what I have here is some parsley. Now if you have Shadow Benny, you can finish it off. I'm going to turn off the stove because let me turn on the heat a little bit. I don't want it to overcook, but if you have Shadow Benny, by all means use the Shadow Benny. If not, you can use coriander or cilantro. Shadow Benny is also called culantro. Yeah? I'm just going to hit this a final little stir. Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com, an intimate look into the sort of, dishes that I grew up enjoying, which brings comfort to me. We've been lucky so far in February, hardly any snow and stuff like that. Coincidentally, right now, we're in the middle of a sort of a snowstorm there. So I do hope you all get an opportunity to give this one a try. And yeah, the lighting causing the shrimp to look white. But I'm telling you, I don't do heavy green curry. So if you want to complain about that, you can complain about that. Irie?